race. But yeah, I'm doing well, thank you, by the way. Oh, Skiz gets a 5-place penalty for colliding with Millard. Oh, that's teammates as well. Oh, lobby, if I'm going to be completely honest, because usually it wouldn't say that. But we are actually going to the grid for 5 red lights here in Division 2 around Singapore, and it's lights out and away we go. And I think the Mercedes did get a pretty good start. I think Casper as well in P2 is already trying to challenge down into turn 1, but can't get the move done. And Millard right behind them, and Callum is going side by side with Jojo alongside them. And Jojo gets the jump up the inside going into turn 5. Down at the back, is any other moves being made? I think Quartz was maybe having a little bit of a battle with Matthew May. Matthew May making up some good positions on the opening lap there. FIFA's in P17, Mafio in... The Bird getting close as well. The Bird might try and go for it. On Miller down the inside into turn 13. That's a very bold place to go for a move. But the Bird has got it, and he's still going to hold it side by side. But... Always, I think Skiz has had a moment, and he's spun on the exit of turn 13 or into turn 13. The hockey game, but still got to watch you go. As Millard now is dropped out of a second to Casper, and this might make the overtake for the Bird. Sorry, why do I keep messing up these names? A little bit easier. Is he going to potentially make it going into turn 16? And he is going to pull to the inside, gets alongside, breaks latest, and gets the move. Although he has to go a bit deep going into turn 16, which might allow Millard to go back up the inside going into turn 18 and 19. What is happening with Millard? That was some serious bravery by him, but he manages to get the move stick and into turn 1 secures P4. That was some unreal battling there with Millard. The Bird though can still make it back though into turn 7. We'll keep on board with this battle because I do not want to look away. This is some unreal battling. But the Bird with the DRS open, and he's going to pull to the inside already, and down the inside he goes into turn 7. And the Ugly goes side by side. The Bird has a slight snap, and that has actually allowed Millard to keep the move as Callum goes down the inside of Jojo, spotting a mistake by the Red Bull, and then the Red Bull down the inside again into turn 9, gets the move as Skipper now makes the move on Raven down medium, so not too sure why that is. Maybe there's rain coming later on in the race. Always the Bird has a massive send round the outside going into turn 14 on the McLaren. Gets a little bit tapped there, and he misses an end plate because of it, and he drops down 1 position and maybe 2 Skipper U as well, as Callum, as Skipper U is then going to be the next driver who could make the position. And I think the Bird, I thought the Bird actually went into the pits, but doesn't. Raven is going to be the next driver to take this down the inside going into turn 1. And the Bird is probably just going to fall back now, although I don't actually think it was him that got the end plate damage. I don't actually know. Was it possibly Millard who got the end plate damage? Oh, it's the Red Bull of Jojo. Jojo got the wing damage. As the Bird is going to try and retake the move on Raven down the inside, but Raven holds the inside, kind of maybe forces off the Bird a little bit, and I think he actually backs out to ensure that the Bird kept the position, but now is Batten just being able to stay in front or stay with that fight. As round the outside goes Jojo on the McLaren, and once again the McLaren tries to leave the space but isn't able to, and I think gives Jojo the space, and down the inside tries to go Callum on the McLaren, and now the McLaren goes down the inside of Jojo to retake what was P4, and in the background there that is Skipper U and the Bird going side by side. Can Skipper U make the move? Down the inside he goes, going into turn 10 and 11, and through 12 he gets the move quite comfortably under the bridge. And there's a bit of a battle going on right now as Gone to the Moon gets close to Muscle Link. Side Effects on the outside of the Williams. Can Side Effects make the move going into turn 14? And the Williams tries to stay in front and eventually does stay in front. Matthew May gets past Side Effects though. Can Quartz make the move on his teammate as well? Matthew May can't make any further positions though. As Casper makes the move on Adam down the inside going into turn 1, but Alfonso Alonso pulling out by 1 point, and Quartz obviously swapping positions as well. Skiz actually getting really close to Mafio, and in the background there, Skiz gets the move on the Alpine, but tries to retake it around the outside going into turn 8, but into turn 9, that is going to be an easy move for the McLaren. As Callum and Millard go side by side into turn 1, and Callum gets the move but has to go off the track, and I think Millard might be reporting that if he keeps that position, goes off the track again, and Callum doesn't look to be conceding that, and that's going to be a penalty coming at Callum's way. Millard is definitely going to be reporting that. He definitely left the track and gained an advantage from doing that. But I think Scipio is going to be under pressure as well as he tries to go down the inside of the Haas, as the Haas goes off the track as well and loses 4 places now to Raven and Ronan, but tries to go down the inside of the Red Bull, tries to go down the inside of the Ferrari but isn't able to, and the Haas is in P9. Master Link's trying to go down the inside, but that is Ronan and Callum once again going side by side, and Callum tries to switch to the outside but can't get it. Oh, and that's really close to contact going through turn. Driver in of Millard into the pit lane there. And that's going to give Scipio a bit of work to do to try and catch up to Jojo, as Miller gets a 10-second penalty for speeding. And he's going to have to try and suffer that at the end of the race. Oh, as Jojo gets a snap, and that's allowed Scipio to try and make the move. But because Jojo was parked in the middle of the road, Scipio wasn't able to make the position, but he's caught up a lot of time now. And he's going to be within DRS, but he has a snap of himself, and Raven's going to notice that, and Raven might try and go for the overtake going into turn 16. And he looks to the inside, brakes latest, but can't make the move. And he will have to try and get it on the next straight potentially as he goes into the pit lane. So does Scipio. Callum stays out, so does Ronan Keane, and actually Scipio stays out. It was someone else who went into the pit. And Ronan Keane gets in front of Scipio into turn 7, but into turn 8, Scipio tries to refight this down the inside. Did he force the Red Bull off as the Red Bull comes back at him through turn 9, side by side? And that was really from Mafio. As Adam gets past Casper as Casper heads into the pits. Skiz with another 3-second penalty as Scipio into the pits as well. Callum stays out. Quartz stays out as well, so where is Casper going to come out compared to the other drivers? Is everyone behind him in the pits? So massive. And you can see Raven coming through turn 1 right now, and he, I think, has actually jumped a few places, and he's now behind Millard. But obviously, you know, Raven has the fresher tyres. They will need to heat up a little bit. Really being the best of starts. And they do need to try and come back if they can, as Millard makes quite a cheeky overtake there on FIFA's down the inside going into turn 13 there. Spots the mistake and makes the overtake. As Alfonso Alonso now into the pits, so is Adam. Callum in the pits as well, so the two Hasses are going to double stack if Callum doesn't time this correctly. One of the Hasses into the pits right now, and I think he's changing his front wing. No, he doesn't. And have the Haas team done that quite nicely? No, he's had to wait a little bit. He hasn't lost a lot of time though, so I'd say good play from the Haas team anyway. But Casper comes out 1.6 seconds behind Alfonso Alonso, but Alfonso Alonso has the fresher tyres. Adam with him, Scipio in P7, Ronan Keane in P8, so Raven has jumped a few personnel as well, as Ronan Keane gets past Scipio down into turn 7, but nearly goes off the track, and Scipio is going to try and come back at him going into turn 8. But I think Ronan Keane has just been able to hold on to that position, but Master Links now tries to go around the out enough to make a move, but he closes in by about 3/10, I would say, as Ronan Keane gets past Raven, and I think Scipio down the inside as well of the Ferrari and pushes him off a little bit. I don't know if that was legal or not, though, by the Mercedes. I'll have to watch that again to see the racing room that he left. But down the inside, Raven tries to hold it around the outside. He's really close to the wall there. How did he not collide the wall? But Skipper makes the move regardless into P7. As a few drivers there in the back getting some penalties. Oh, as I think Raven had to go off. And he's down. As I think that was Raven heading into the pits there. Maybe to go onto a set of soft tyres. Let's see. Oh, it's raining and he's gonna already go onto inters. So rain is gonna be coming into the final stages of this race. Now, has Raven called that strategy brilliantly? Could we see Raven making one of the most ambitious strategy choices? And will it work out for him? Skiz also goes onto the inters. Fifus has passed the pit lane. Quartz, I don't think it's going to go for it. Gone to the moon on those tyres, but I don't think it's inters. Although the rain is starting to fall down a bit more, Alfonso Alonso stays out and Casper comes into the pit lane. What is Adam going to do? He stays out as well. Ronan Keane, what is he going to do? Miller comes into the pits, but everyone behind him stays out for another lap. They don't think it's inters. What is Matthew May going to do? And I think he elects to go in, but he's cut the pit lane. And, well, he went out of the pit lane and then comes back in. That's going to be a penalty. Alonso going to do coming into the pits, or will he not? As I think that's gone to the moon that stays out. Obviously, he's on inters himself as Alfonso Alonso has a bit of a snap and he is struggling to try and keep it on the track. And he is going to come into the pits. Is the bird going to follow him in? Yes, he does. Is Adam going to pull the trigger as well on the hard tyres? And I think it is going to be everyone going. Is the bird cuts the pit lane? Adam goes into the pits as well. He actually overtakes someone and he's crashed into the pit wall. How has he done that? And I think that's Muscle Links that stayed out. Ronan Keane in, Jojo in, and Skipper you as well. Callum in as well. Is Casper going to be able to jump all of these drivers who have pitted onto the inters? Let's look at Alfonso Alonso coming onto the pit exit. And I think he's going to be able to stay in front. And I think the bird is as well. But Casper is there. He's going to be trying to go past. Where is the bird compared to Casper? And he gets out in front. So Alfonso Alonso and the bird in P1 and P2 still. And Casper stays in net P3. Adam is in P5 at the moment. Ronan Keane in P6. Skipper U P7. Matthew May P8. And Raven in... Oh, as I think the bird had a moment through there, and that's allowed Casper to get through, and the bird, I think, went straight on at turn 14. So Casper now into P2. The bird in P3. What happened to the Alpine? Master Links, or Callum getting very close to Raven. What's happened to Raven? As Jojo is having a little look on Matthew May, might try the switchback. And is he going to get wheel to wheel through the final corner? And he has gone side by side through the final corner. And Jojo gets the move. That was a very, very brave move. It's tricky enough to make it in the dry weather. And, you know, when you get the wets. And he is going to try to go down the inside of the Ferrari. Will he brake latest? And they're still going to go side by side. A bit of contact between those two. Raven... As Raven has a snap, and that gives Callum an opportunity to go around the outside, and he gets the move. Master Links tries to go down the inside as well, but backs out. Ronan Keane and Skipper U now going side by side as Ronan Keane goes down the inside, going into turn 5. Can Skipper U try and respond to try and go around the inside? I don't think he's going to be able to. The bird is trying to make a move on Casper now, going into turn 8. The bird on the outside, Casper on the inside. And they are still going to maintain this side by side through turn 9. Wheel to wheel race of racing action, I'm fairly sure. Master Links is going to try and make a move on Raven round the outside. And he has got the wheel there. Can he be able to hold it? As Raven has kind of forced him off a little bit there. And is Raven going to give that place? He is going to go. He's going to try and go wheel to wheel. His DRS has now been enabled, so it's now back to slick conditions. And that was very to be winning this race this evening. As Skipper U and Casper about to try and maybe have a last lap battle as Skippy coming down into turn 14, about to enter sector 2. He has dominated the race from the start, almost led pretty much every single lap, and it's gonna be a race win for him from pole position as well. Absolutely extraordinary performance for the Mercedes, and one that I am sure he is going to probably remember for a few months to come. He could even try and reverse across the line, but through the final corner, Alfonso Alonso wins the Singapore Grand Prix. The Bird, Skippy gets past Ronan. I didn't see that coming, but the Bird will take P2 across the line, and Skippy, with a last-minute overtake on Ronan, takes P3 there on the podium, but then loses it as Ronan Key now takes P3, Casper in P4. So is Skippy maybe going to think if he can remove one of those penalties? I don't know. As Jojo comes home in P6, Callum comes home in P7, but Master Lynx then takes it from Pens. Matthew May crosses the line to take P9, and Raven finishing in P10. The two McLarens up next. Unfortunate race for them. Not really on the right strategy, and some penalties along the way as well. Skiz takes P11 with Millard in P12. Side Effects finishes in P13 with Gone to the Moon, who will be finishing in P14.